Wow, hey, what's up, bud?
What's going on? Chat shit stirring? I can't even talk. Is it chat shit stirring, or is it you that you actually want to talk? Because I said I wanted to. I was down to talk about this later today, and they were saying that you're about to leave.
Yeah, I gotta do D&D tonight. Wait, why do you want to talk about it later today?
Well, I just got started. I just wanted to go through my own shit before I went into like a long and comprehensive debate about private speech versus public speech and the usage of the N word in private speech.
Oh, don't worry. Well, actually, so I'm curious. Firstly, wait. So, do you think it's okay to say it privately as long as you don't say publicly that you say it privately?
No, I would rather you don't say it. Like I don't
Wait, wait,
say it.
wait.
And hold on.
Really
I would
clear.
rather everyone not say it. I don't say it. There are a number of different reasons for why saying the N-word and other hateful terminology as well is problematic and
Okay, wait, wait.
bad.
Okay, I don't need all this. Hold on. I'm just so you didn't answer the question at all. Let me try one more time. Do you think it's okay for people to say it privately if they don't admit it publicly?
No, I still don't think it's okay. But in your
Okay, okay.
but in your instance, I'm saying like I would, if you're not going to stop saying the N-word, I would rather you just at least not
Yeah,
say
I'm not
that you're saying
asking.
the
I don't
N-word.
know why you're telling me what like a rather. We're not talking about like would you rather this or that. I'm just asking this one very simple question. Okay, so if you think it's okay, or I'm sorry, if you don't think it's
Wait,
ever
why don't you
okay,
think that that's significant when it's like almost the entirety of this conversation is that
what? No,
like
because this is
I've literally already conceded that I can't stop you from saying whatever fucking thing you want
we're
to
not
say in
talking about
private.
whether or not you can stop me.
Okay.
This is a very simple question of whether or not you think it's okay to say it privately if you don't admit it publicly. And it sounds like your answer to that is no. Is that fair?
Whether it's
Why
okay
is
to
it
say
so
something
hard to
private
just answer this question? Is it okay?
because Destiny, you ask for, when I debate you, it's not just debating you, it's debating your brain trust, and it's also debating and watching fucking clips and a subreddit full of sycophants who turn around and then gaslight and change the narrative and consistently fucking clip shit out
You
of
mean like when
context.
you
Who
gaslit me
will do
last night saying that you didn't come
oh
on and say I was belittling blacks when that was clearly the first thing you said. We
yeah,
even watched
that's
the clip
really
of you saying
interesting that
that.
you say that because I didn't say like you're belittling black people in private as your first implication was, which is what confused me. And then we followed through on that conversation where you went back, you saw the clip itself. I didn't even see it because I didn't even click on it because it was a waste of time. And then you followed through by changing your narrative. It's in my subreddit as well. Like they clipped it out. I wouldn't have
Excuse
even
me.
noticed it
I'm
if
sorry.
that
I'm out
wasn't
of
the case.
control. I apologize
There
for
might
that.
have been a misunderstanding. I'm trying to be as charitable as possible. And if there was a misunderstanding on your end, then that's okay.
Okay.
But when I
I'll
say
go
like
back and review that. But
okay, do you want to know what the biggest damage is of having these sorts of discussions, especially
sure.
like the one that we had last night?
Mm-hmm.
You and I have, I guess, different moral systems. I really can't describe mine. I'm not philosophically well equipped enough. Maybe I could, but I'm not gonna engage in that right now. And for me, having that conversation where you're triggering people and you're being triggered yourself, especially to random black people that most people are unfamiliar with who don't understand the Twitch space at all, is always going to have negative consequences. Negative consequences such as them looking angry and emotional
Okay. Can we
and
before we
feeling like
go?
they're belittled. That was
Okay,
the
we're
point.
pivoting down. Do you understand right now that you're pivoting really far away from the original question? Okay, this is like I don't know what brain trust or whatever we're talking about. Just the
DGG,
original. Okay,
the
no,
place
no,
that
no,
you
no, no, I
steal
don't
memes
care. Yeah,
from.
I understand. Okay, just very, very, very simple questions. Okay.
Okay, I
So the
know.
initial question was, is it okay to say it privately as long as you don't admit to it publicly? Now it sounds like you said no. That's all I'm trying to get.
Oh, okay.
Do you really
Yeah.
feel like you can't answer that question?
No, I think it's not okay to say it privately. It certainly isn't okay to say it privately either, especially because of what happens when you do say it privately. You open yourself up, especially as a public figure, you open yourself up to a whole bunch of different scrutiny where people will feel a different kind of way about you when it inevitably gets exposed that you do say it in private.
So let's say that you say it privately, but it's never exposed. Is it okay then?
If you say it privately and it never
But it's
gets
never
exposed,
exposed.
I guess.
Okay. So it is okay to say it privately. Or
Dude, come on, Destiny. Yes, in a hypothetical scenario in which literally you are screaming it in the fucking International Space Station and there's not a single camera there and there's no one else there and you're just screaming the N-word at inanimate objects, sure. Like, it's acceptable. Like, what are you
Wait. Can I ask you a question?
What are you trying to draw from here? I already said that contextually.
What am I trying to draw? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you believe. And it's impossible because you can't answer a single question. You just want to talk in stories all day long. I can't, like, I still don't know what the fuck you think. I have no idea. Because right now you just said.
Do you want me to go back through
no.
Points?
I don't want you to talk a million miles an hour because you're just going on to other random things.
I will talk as slowly as I can.
It's not about talking slowly. It's about pivoting to points where you feel stronger because you realize you're full of shit on this answer.
Dude, I can't even fucking debate to save my life. You really think I'm like masterful enough to pivot
not trying
with
to
rhetoric,
debate.
Andy?
I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck you believe.
Seems like you're projecting
That's
a little bit.
Right.
And I can't believe you were saying that like I was fucking Britney venting you. That's kind of lame, but whatever.
I mean, you did. You hopped onto the end of a show where I'm getting dogpiled so that you can throw on some dumb fuck ad homs after you were already roasting me in your private community.
That's what I was trying to do, and not trying to fucking, smooth.
How do we pivot this again? Wait, hold on. We're not pivoting. I'm sorry. So
okay, let's go back. Do you want to hear my position? Do you want to hear my position? Not that it matters to you at all, I don't think. And I think this is just,
I don't want you to talk for 10 hours.
Okay,
I just
I'll
want
talk
you
for
to
a minute. I'm going to try to make this.
Here's my question. Is it okay to say it privately?
Can I just tell you my point before you start asking questions?
Okay, I'm just going to re-ask this question at the end, just so you know.
Okay,
but go
it's
for
fine.
it. Okay?
It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay. I think in most instances, saying the N-word, both in private and definitely in public, is bad. Okay? Now, having said that, it could be contextually appropriate to use the N-word in a private setting. Definitely more so than it could be contextually appropriate to say the N-word in a public setting. But having said that, as a public figure, right, you acknowledge that you have certain responsibilities, or not even certain responsibilities, but you believe that within your moral framework, that you don't want to say the N-word in public because other people could weaponize that and use that, or actually racist people could feel emboldened that it is okay to say. This is because of the power of the word itself and the history associated with it, and the damage associated with the utilization of the N-word, which degrades and dehumanizes black people. Now, I'm simply stating that if you are not going to stop saying the N-word in private, as a public figure who has made a determination that you shouldn't say the N-word in public, you should not admit that you say the N-word in private all the time. I think this is something that you agree to as well. I'm done. That's it.
Okay. I'm going to ask again because you didn't answer the question. Is it okay to say it privately if you don't admit to it publicly? And then why or why not? Can you not answer this question?
Privately? I said in certain contexts, it could be okay to say it privately.
What do you mean by certain context? Not like you're reading it out of a dictionary, but in the context of an offensive joke.
I wasn't going to do this, but like, I didn't really read the logs that got leaked or whatever, but I have seen you say the N-word on the internet before. In the context that you use the N-word when you're calling someone an R-worded, little F-worded N-word, that is not an appropriate context. Because that context makes you look like a terrible person.
That's great. So one, you just pivoted to a position that I don't defend anymore. So I said, really.
Wait, but you asked me what? No. You asked me what?
No. I asked you what context, and then you I asked you what context, and then you pointed to a specific example. So you're not answering the question.
No, that is context. I just literally gave you context. That is an unacceptable one.
You didn't. Okay, so what would be acceptable?
I think that the examples that you gave.
Oh my God!
Last night, the examples
that you get. Holy shit! This is unreal. Are you guys watching this? I can't believe this right now. Why can't you just answer the question?
Did you just call to cry because I'm literally answering your question, homie?
No, you're not answering.
Yeah,
I'm asking. You're saying, well, in the context I provide, but I'm asking you, in what context is it acceptable? How can you not answer the question?
I am. I said the 3 examples that you gave last night, while cringy, are still relatively acceptable contexts.
I'm not okay. When I ask you for an argument for why it's okay or not okay to do something, I'm not asking for examples. What I'm asking for is, what is the formula that you use to determine those examples are good? Okay? So, for instance, if I say, what's your example of a good person? And you go, no, I'm sorry. If I say, what makes somebody a good person? And you go, oh, I think that Z is a good person. I'm like, well, no. Well, what like makes them a good person? Like, oh, well, I think like A, B, and C are good people. I'm like, no. Like, what makes someone a good person? Like, well, I think that D, F, and E are good. No, I'm asking you, what makes it acceptable? Don't give me examples. Don't give me context. Just tell me, this is what would make an edgy joke acceptable. Like, what is the formula that you use?
what is the formula that I use that I think that an edgy joke is acceptable?
Yes.
I think like a retelling of a specific joke is acceptable. Whereas if you're using the N-word exclusively in and of itself, if you're using the N-word exclusively in and of itself to dehumanize and degrade black people, or the existence that like black people are N-words, when you're using that against another person, it is an unacceptable fashion.
Okay. So
I
if
can't
you're
believe I can't believe we're still having this conversation, by the way.
I know, I can't believe how hard it is for you to answer a question. So if I quote to a friend,
no, I meant like having a conversation with a 30-year-old man who's still trying to defend the usage of the N-word, even though when pushed back on it, you say, oh, well, it was actually just defending edgy jokes. If that's your position, we can actually have a conversation around that.
That's always been my position.
So then why don't we have that conversation then? So
because you don't want to, because you constantly want to reframe it to this, because you get slam dunks with your audience full of dipshits. Yes!
No!
That's absolutely... hold on. Do you want to bet $1,000 on this right now? We can go back last night. God. No. I'm asking you. We can go back last night and I specifically said, hey, this is about edgy jokes. You're the one that reframes it specifically about the N-word. Do you want to go back and look for that? We can find those clips. Actually, we don't even have to bet money on it. We could go back and look for those specific clips.
If your position has changed from saying, I say the N, I literally said this last night as well, and I will repeat it. If your position has changed from, I say the N-word all the time in private, and that's fine, or whatever the exact...
Dude, you're such a piece of shit.
No,
Holy
I'm
fuck.
not. I'm not. If your
you
position
are.
is not that,
you're taking one quote when I've written extensively about this. I've made like fucking pages of fucking posts like related to this topic, and you're going for the one quote that I used when I was like responding to somebody else trying to like fucking flame me. That is what you're using right now.
I'm asking you to clarify. I'm not trying to... Dude, it is literally not a gotcha moment, okay?
It is. It's the ultimate bad faith bullshit, dude.
Oh, no, dude. You are... Okay, can you just like... Okay, just reset all of the fucking previous biases you have and try to look at this in a charitable fashion. I'm trying to...
Why the fuck would I do that when none of you have ever even like applied an ounce of charity to anything I've said?
Subhuman. How many times, even in that instance, I defended you? So shut the fuck up, okay?
Well then, dude. Okay, yeah, maybe because it was convenient for you there.
You on the internet. Shut the fuck up. And
dude, are you serious? You take shots at me constantly, dude. Before I talk to my podcast co-host today, you're talking to like, oh well, if he ever says it in private, that's like dehumanizing as fuck. Don't sit here and act like you fucking stand for me super fucking hard. Okay, we are nice to each other sometimes on Twitter. No. You take shots at me constantly on your public position. Every time you do it, I get a fucking clip of it. Don't pretend like you're going out of your way to fucking help me or some shit.
Okay, this is really fucking dumb. I'm muting him. He can go off as much as he wants. But listen, okay.
Listen to you all the time.
Are you gonna calm down? I'm
super calm.
Okay, you don't seem like it, buddy, but it's okay. We're gonna get there. Listen.
Okay.
So,
wait, can we just talk about the subject rather than this?
I mean, I want to. I really
do.
Okay,
so you said retelling of a specific joke is acceptable. So if me or another white person retells some joke that has the N-word in it, is that acceptable?
Wait, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Can you say that again?
You said that in specific contexts, it's okay to say like a racial joke. And then you said, and I quote, retelling of a specific joke is acceptable. So if I retell a joke from like the Chappelle Show or the Chris Rock Show and it has the N-word in it as a white person in a private setting, is that okay?
I guess it depends on the context. It depends on additional context, like
what other context?
Who's saying it? Are they a racist person? Things that you and I both agree on, but that are important, right? Like you agree on this, right? Like you said that you would have to check beforehand before you make a statement about like a racist statement around some other people, or you try to be as polite as possible and don't say it around specific people that you know will take offense to it. Like
so you agree on my position?
Or trihex. Listen, I agree all the way up to this point. But
then we're done. Then we agree on everything.
But as soon as you say, I know, but as soon as you say, I say the N-word, it's one thing that's taken out of context.
That's a separate argument, though. We're not talking about that right now.
No, Destiny, you're misunderstanding the point, okay?
No, I'm not. You're misunderstanding. We can have this argument. I'll talk about this.
It's literally undoing all of the things that you have done.
I disagree, but that's a separate argument. Listen. Okay, so I just
my argument since day one.
No, it's not. You just earlier told trihex that if I say it, I have the clip of you saying that just because I say that privately, it's like dehumanizing to black people. So you don't agree with that.
The N-word in and of itself, in the way that I have seen you use it, that has been leaked, and that I've known to see. And
now you're going back to like the specific one-off instead of the formula.
Because that's not. No. It's not a formula. That is literally why people are upset. Okay.
No, it's not. Okay.
I'm curious. If the only instances of you using the N-word in public were exclusively when you were like reading a Tom Sawyer quote, I don't think people would be this upset. Okay.
Why not?
But you are known to have used it in the past in that way. You have changed since then. But when you still turn around and say, I don't only say it in public, but I'm saying it in private all the time, it still sets a precedent that like you're probably fucking dropping N-words and weaponizing it against fucking other people all the time. Maybe not towards a black person, but it's still, the word itself still implies that like you can use that against another person and call them like subhuman, like a black person who is subhuman.
Okay, are you done? Because I'm dumping everything you just said. It was all a waste of time. So let's go back to this one thing again. So you're telling me that it is okay in some context in a private setting for a white person to say the N-word. Can you just say that? Because that's what you said earlier. Because if you believe that, we don't disagree on anything.
Okay,
yes?
it is. Yes, it is. But
okay,
again, my
no, not again. No. Don't run away from that. Okay?
No, I
that's
said
it.
yes.
Okay,
but my opinion on this, but my opinion on this is still largely insignificant in comparison to the overwhelming amount of people of color that are going to have a different type of.
That's
opinion
fine.
on it.
That's okay though. You agree with my main point. Yes, you think that there are times.
But this is not a gateway to like. But Destiny, what you have to realize, like, this is being utilized as a fucking gateway to say the N-word all the time.
I disagree, but that's a separate conversation.
How? Do you not?
That's a separate. That's a separate conversation. No, that's a separate. I don't want to have that conversation. We can have it in like 2 minutes.
I want to have. I don't give a fuck about the conversation.
Well, I do care about this because you just earlier told trihex that it was intrinsically dehumanizing for me to ever say the N-word privately. But now you seem like you're changing your mind on that, or you never believed that, or you were just saying this shit stir between me and trihex.
Wait, why do you think that like I'm the one who's responsible? Why don't you think that trihex personally feels some fucking type of way about you using the N-word? Like, is it so
Hold
insane?
on, those aren't mutually exclusive. He can feel a certain type of way, and you can still reinforce that feeling by saying Destiny is dehumanizing.
I can't believe
those aren't mutually exclusive.
I can't believe that you think like I didn't even want to fucking have this conversation with trihex after you guys had this conversation at Raj. I like literally was like, hey, I hope you're all right. Like, I hope you're doing fine.
Wow.
As my friend.
Did he hold a gun to your head and like force you to have it, or what do you mean? Like, how did you get bullied into having that conversation that you definitely didn't want to have?
Why do you think everything is so transactional, homie? Sometimes
it's not about. Wait, why are you backpedaling to? Wait, are you trying to just dig out like NPC insults against me? You just said you didn't want to have the conversation. Why did you have it then?
Because he's my friend, and he
so then you did want to have that conversation.
Distress.
Sure. So then you were willing to have that conversation. Don't sit here and try to think, oh, I didn't want to talk about it. You clearly, if you brought it up, you were willing to talk about it.
Oh my god, dude, you are fucking awful, dude. Holy shit. Okay, listen. I had the conversation because he wanted to have that conversation, and he wanted to have it on stream. Okay. But that is like we have removed far away from the original point that we were supposed to have.
Well, the original point is you think it's okay for white people to say the N-word privately.
Because the implication is that like I'm fucking, what is it? I'm secretly like going up the tracks and be like, hey, you should get really mad at Destiny because he said he says the N-word in private, and then has consistently defended it as though that was the position that he originally had, even though apparently that's not the position that he originally had. He actually has a more nuanced take on it, and he thinks that it's okay to like laugh at edgy jokes or make edgy jokes every now and then. My position is edgy jokes are fine. I make them in public. I make them in private as well. As long as, you know, I personally don't like the N-word. If I can't.
But you think it's okay in certain contexts privately?
You could, yes.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, we agree on that. So we can move on to the next topic.
Bro, like Tom Sawyer argument. Like
no, I'm not at all. We can move to the next topic though. You agree with that? That's fine. We can move to the next topic. Okay, that's whether or not admitting to it publicly it makes it all of a sudden undoes everything. Also, just so you know, your community is not going to be okay with you admitting that. Okay, I don't know if you think that's what everybody. I don't know if you think that's what everybody thinks that the argument is about.
Because maybe you and I have a different understanding of like what contextually is appropriate and what isn't contextually appropriate. Okay. That's what it is.
Maybe
but you are literally,
both of us agree that white people quoting funny jokes that have the N-word in them, maybe done by Chappelle or Chris Rock or something, that could be funny privately.
But I think it's cringy.
We're not asking about if it's cringy or not.
I don't use it personally. I can't.
Don't care if you use it personally. That's not the conversation topic.
I know.
You're pivoting so much.
I'm not like pivoting, you can't.
Do you find it troubling that you can't just own a position? Like, just own it. Say something and own it. Stop running away from it like a fucking coward. I think it's cringy. I would never do it. Blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. Just own it.
You're such a fucking brave and bold dude.
There you go. Go to the NPC talking points. White guy want to say the N-word. Dude, I'm good, right, guys? I'm cool, right, guys?
No,
dude, own a position. Have a fucking spine. Just own it.
You love calling people like crypto tankies and shit, but you are literally the Ben Shapiro for gamer words right now.
I'm
like,
not crypto anything. I am more transparent
than it actually is.
I am more transparent with anything than any of you spineless fucks are on this platform, okay? That's why when I say something, that's why I say it, and that's it. I don't have to qualify like, well, I say it, but like, I would never say that, or I think it's cringy, or I don't think, I don't think it's funny, blah, blah, blah. Like, I say it and I own it, okay? You should take a note from Bernie Sanders. He did it with the taxing the middle class. You're the Elizabeth Warren here, and I'm the Bernie Sanders in this conversation, okay? Just fucking own it. Don't run from it. Just own it.
I'm glad
that's right. The Bernie Sanders of saying the N-word. Amen, brother. That's exactly where I'm at right now, okay? Just own your position.
Instead of crying about or trying to figure out what my audience is going to say, I've already told you what my personal position is. I don't personally say it because I think it's offensive. I don't personally quote the N-word.
That's fine. If no one asked what you personally did, though, I don't know why you're bringing it up.
But if someone else is doing it in the privacy of their own conversation with another person, there are specific contexts in which you could probably say the N-word. That is my point.
That's my position, literally.
I know,
Holy shit.
But I know. I
now here's the big problem. Wait, here's the big problem. You just said that I'm undoing everything by admitting that, but you just admitted it.
What do you mean?
You just admitted to having a private public language differentiation. You said that I undid everything by admitting that. You just admitted it.
In private is still bad, though. It's literally.
Wait, so now you're changing your position?
No, because it's the fucking context. Are you insane? Like, how do you not understand that it's contextually appropriate in certain circumstances and contextually inappropriate? How is this impossible to understand? If you didn't understand this distinction, you wouldn't be trying extra hard to fucking act like it's just edgy jokes when you get called the fuck out by black people.
I love you, buddy, okay? That was all I needed for today. Thank you.
Dude, you are such a pussy. Oh my fucking God, dude. Oh my God, dude. Oh, that is such a forced laugh. That is so pathetic, dude. Come on, Destiny. Come the fuck on, dude. Oh, that is... Okay. I'm not doing that ever again. Like, I'm never doing that again. That was the worst thing. That was an absolute bait. I don't know why I pay attention to what Destiny does, but I really should stop. I mean, if there is like not a better example of why this is he is completely irrelevant and tries to stay relevant by baiting this sort of controversy by people who are trying to make like good faith arguments and admitting to being a sociopath and like fucking alienating his own friends and then literally gaslighting whoever engages with him. It's so fucked up. Oh, okay. Anyway, oh, Jesus Christ, white privilege Andy, so pathetic. Okay.